How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. Tonight, we're going to be doing another segment of Get to Know That Cosplayer, and tonight's featured guest is Uncle Iroh C. How are we doing today?
I'm doing fine.
That's good to hear. So, as always, I'll be asking a couple questions about how he got into cosplay and everything, and as I always start out with when asking every person I interview. How long have you been cosplaying for?
Well, count it 2 years. Actually, more like four because of COVID, but actually active 2 years.
And what got you into cosplaying?
Well, I was down in my basement. There were a bunch of friends down there playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they said that hey, I should, play Uncle Iroh because they were planning to go to SecureCon that year, and I figured, well, I might as well. So we built a costume, and I went, and I had a fabulous time.
Nice. How long did it take you all to get Uncle Iroh made for SakuraCon?
Well, the first the main part of the costume was about a month, but I had a lot of help as far as sewing and that kind of thing.
Wow, that's so you said a month that took you?
Yeah, it wasn't a month solid work, but
Uh,
that's from start to finish. That's about what it was. It was
gotcha.
a it was a tight squeeze getting it done just before the con, as it always is for everybody, I think.
Oh yeah, no, everyone's on that con crunch to get their cosplay, especially if it's a handmade cosplay. It'll take them a little bit longer to get it made and done and everything.
And the best laid plans of mice and men, like the belt was, my big challenge there.
What kind of materials did you use to make the cosplay?
That's curtain material, I think. There was a specialty fabric store that's no longer there, and they had like stuff you would use for stories and uh, curtains and ethnic dresses, the kinds of stuff you would use for like the Spanish tradition, whatever that is.
The
Uh,
quinceanera kind of.
Quinceanera, yeah, that's it. And so just all those weird specialty fabrics. And so we picked out some with dragon prints, and it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, it looked like it came out really well. Um,
Yeah, yeah. It flows when you walk, so that's fun.
well, that's good. I imagine it's breathable for you too.
Yeah, yeah. But I still wouldn't want to do like Vegas in August.
Ooh, that probably wouldn't be good. So SoccerCon, what was that like for your first con?
Well, I kind of expected that I would hang out with my friends, but everybody just went off in their own directions. And so I just said, well, okay, I can have fun. And I just really enjoyed the photo shoots. Went to a few panels, didn't really know what I was doing. Spent way too much money in Artist Alley. Um,
As most people would their first con.
yeah, yeah. But uh, as far as the knickknacks and doodads that you never use, like the figurines and that sort of stuff, I managed to keep my hand off my wallet for that stuff. But
Nice,
I do have prints that are sitting in a box.
nice, nice. Have you gone to other cons aside from SakuraCon before COVID hit and everything?
No, I was planning on Kamuricon, so I think I'm going to make it there this November. I was currently researching a place to stay. I'd like to take my camper van and park it in a parking lot. There's a really good one just south of the convention center. Trying to figure out how to get a hold of those folks.
Nice, nice. So, what's it been like cosplaying Uncle Iroh for 2 years?
Well, as I said, my favorite thing is just the popularity of the character and getting to know people. Uh, you know, there's folks that have I never would have met otherwise. They just happen to play a character that's like Zuko or somebody like that, and you get to talking to them and interacting with them online, and they get to be pretty good friends.
That's good. That's always I think, a good thing when you go to cons to meet new friends. How often do you get recognized as the character you cosplay when you go to cons?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I don't think anybody mistakes me for any other character.
That's good.
There are, I think, better Iros out there, but I think they've probably been doing it a few more years than I have.
Yeah. And speaking of, on the topic of your Uncle Iroh, where did you purchase the wig for your Uncle Iroh cosplay?
Well, I went to a wig shop that specializes in black hair because I knew that they could make custom wigs. And so I selected the hair, and a woman just made it for me.
No, that was nice of her. How much did that cost you, if you don't mind me asking?
It was about $120, I think.
That's not a bad price for a wig. That's usually how most custom wigs usually go for. So
Yeah. And it was custom from scratch.
nice.
So there was the hair and the cap, and she just did whatever she did.
Nice. Now, also, what's it like cosplaying in your 60s? Because I remember you telling me that you just, like recently started cosplaying not too long ago.
Yeah, I tell other people my age that I basically dress up like a cartoon character and, um, you know, go have people recognize me. So a lot of them just kind of look at me quizzically or have no clue what I'm doing. Um, but yeah, as I said, there's not a lot of people my age that do it. But most of the Uncle Iros are older, at least in their 50s, because you got to have the gray hair.
Right. And, would you say that cosplay is for everyone, no matter your age and everything?
I, yeah, the age doesn't matter. It's a matter of your attitude.
Cannot agree anymore on that. So how many cons have you gone to total for the past 2 years before COVID had hit?
Well, just the two secure cons. So, well, I guess I went to a couple of little community college things, but I think they probably had probably less than 500 people at them. So they weren't exactly, they were more like meetups than cons, I would call them.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And you've gone to quite a few of those, I imagine?
Oh, maybe two or three.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I now imagine once COVID is over, you plan on trying to go to more cons when this whole thing blows over, or when they say, "Hey, these are what the guidelines are and everything."
Yeah, well, the good thing is I'm going to get a vaccine, a lot sooner than other people. So that means I'll be able to get out and about and not have to be as concerned.
Well, that's good to hear.
And I bought a camper van, so I specifically for cons.
Very nice. So aside from Uncle Iroh, do you have like any future cosplays you'd like to share with us that you may want to be potentially doing?
Well, Master Yoshi would be a good one, particularly when it's warmer out,
No, naturally.
because my Uncle Iroh costume kind of limits me, uh, for hot weather, because I wouldn't want to wear that thing, when it's really warm outside.
Oh no, I don't. I wouldn't blame you. Um, do you have any?
And
Would
of course,
you? Sorry, go ahead.
there's ones that, gee, I would like to do, but it would be practically impossible given the body I have.
No, it shouldn't matter on your, your height or weight. As long as you enjoy the character, it really shouldn't matter. Do you care sharing what those potential cosplays you would want to do?
Geez, pretty much any um, um, really strong female character. So, like Elizabeth from Seven Deadly Sins. That would be a pretty simple one to do, but there's no way I could pull that off.
Yeah, no. And I've seen some male cosplayers cosplay female characters and vice versa, and it's as long as you enjoy the character and as long as you don't, and as long as you enjoy, it really shouldn't matter. But I get where you're coming from and whatnot, and I believe you were telling me a while back that you wanted to cosplay like muscular Uncle Iroh when he's like wearing his prison wear or whatever his that loincloth and everything.
Yeah, yeah, the one where he falls off the back of the it's a cart or horse, I don't remember. Um, and being able to shoot flame out of my mouth, that would be a cool thing.
Fire spitting, yeah, that'd be pretty cool to
You know,
see you
yeah,
can
yeah
add to
that,
your
that
cosplay.
that that one scene where he gets caught, and then he just shoots flame out of his mouth and just spins around and he's in his loincloth. But I don't know how appropriate that would be in most cons. Maybe that would
Probably not very appropriate.
but it'd probably be good for warm weather though.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Now SoccerCon, what did you say that's like? Because I've always asked this for other cosplayers who've gone to cons. Would you recommend SoccerCon for someone's first con who's just wanted to, start out going to cons?
Oh yeah, because there's so many things to do, um, and you just kind of get worn out. So you really should get a hotel for your first con, just because traveling any kind of distance to the con is just going to wear you out even more.
Oh, most definitely.
The post con sickness is definitely a thing.
And that's my next question. What was it like traveling to Sakura Con? Like, what was the trip like back? Going to the con and then leaving the con once it was over.
Well, I live fairly close, so I just took the train. I did get some interesting looks on the train. The downside is that unless you stay close or park on the street for Seattle anyway, you really can't do the late night dance, the rave,
Gotcha.
because everything, the parking garages and the train and the buses all stop before that's over.
Oof.
So I'm thinking that's why I'm looking forward to CameraCon, because you don't really have that problem.
I know.
The logistics are just a little bit better for late night.
Most definitely. Like you said, you're looking forward to potentially going to KomoriCon and everything. Did you pre-register your tickets for that con yet, or?
I haven't clicked the button. I got the web page up, but I think you got until October, and you still get the it's 55 or 50. Anyway, there's the middle discount is good until I think October.
Nice. Now for SoccerCon, did you go for all the days, or just one of the days, or what did you do? How did you go about that when you went to that con?
Yeah, I went to all the days. Even went early on Thursday because you can pre-register and you don't have to stand in line as long.
Nice. So back to your Uncle Ira. I imagine you did your research and everything before wanting to cosplay him.
Yeah, yeah, I watched the entire series a couple three times.
Nice. So I'm sure that
and,
definitely
and
came
I,
out in handy.
yeah, and I usually watched a few episodes just before each con to kind of get in the mood.
Nice. That's always good to have the
And
inspiration.
bone up on the sage advice.
The what?
The advice that Uncle Ira already always gives.
Oh, nice. That's like even better. Now, on that topic, do you think and do you think those who are cosplaying a character and don't do their research, do you think that's still okay for them to cosplay a character they don't know anything about, or should they do their research before cosplaying the character?
I don't think it matters. Um, I mean, if in reality you really don't need a character, you can just dress up like an elf.
And then that's one of the topics I want to bring up later on. Is how it does if you don't know anything about the character, you should still be allowed to cosplay them. You shouldn't have to let someone gatekeep or anything like that, telling you, oh, you can't cosplay this character because you don't know anything about them. And I'm glad that you think that, no matter what, no matter the research you've done or not, you can still cosplay that character. That's a good thing to, bring up.
Yeah, I think I think the new term for the people that gatekeep like that are called Karens.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of gatekeeping and everything. So you know, um, it's gotten worse, especially in the cosplay community and everything.
Yeah, I think it's the pendulum swings.
Yeah.
So the pendulum is swung, all the way to the conservative side where the gatekeepers and the Karens come out, and hopefully it'll swing the other way and not to get too crazy where we're uh, back to the 60s and 70s.
Yeah. So, have you ever had any issues when cosplaying Uncle Iroh, like, like someone off your cosplay's fallen, or you like had a mishap or something or anything like that?
Mm, no, everything went perfectly smooth. I, you know, other than getting lost in downtown Seattle
Oh,
because GPS doesn't work and it was dark.
oh no.
Uh, you know, walking the wrong direction to find the restaurant and then accidentally bumping across it by mistake. Yes, stuff like that. Um, that's it's just a matter of getting the lay of the land is all.
All right. And any advice for those who go to SakuraCon for their first time? Do you have any advice or tips for people who want to go to SakuraCon?
Get plenty of rest. Uh, have your cosplay done a month before, and stay in the Sheraton
I take it
because
that's. Go ahead.
that's the hotel that's attached to the convention center.
And that would happen to be the Sheraton Grand.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's a convention center in Sacramento that right next to it is a Sheraton Grand, and they're the ones who help host that con. So that's good to know. Um, how big is SakuraCon, like the convention itself?
That's huge. I I don't have an idea what the number is, but I would say it's around 20,000 people.
Oh wow, that's quite a lot of. Now, is it like a big story building, like that has like a bunch of floors and stuff like that?
Yeah, that convention center got.
So, as you were saying about what we were just talking about,
Oh, yeah, I just looked it up, and in 2015 there were 23,000 people at SAC. So I would say that they're probably getting close to 30 by now.
that's
And
still a lot of
it
people.
yeah, and it takes up 100,000 square foot of space. So yeah, it's a pretty big event.
That that sounds like a lot of people, especially, and I take it that's like one of the bigger cons in the Washington area down there.
Yeah, I think it is the biggest. Well, um, I don't know. Comic Con might be bigger, but I'm not sure. But
Right.
I don't know if there's a larger facility that would. They'd have to split it between multiple facilities if it got too much bigger.
Right. Um, got like probably 7 more minutes here. Um, I'm trying to think. So, what kind of impact has cosplaying had on your life and everything?
Oh, it's just a fun thing to do. I'm retired, so I'm looking for fun things to do. And the biggest thing is that it gets me to hang out with people that are not my age. So it's not exactly an age appropriate activity, if you will. Um, Unlike something like ham radio or RVing or something like that, where you tend to get more retired people.
Right.
Uh, so it keeps you fresher and more active, and just with uh, a less pessimistic point of view, I suppose.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. So let's see. I think I asked that one. Trying to think. Would you happen to have any con stories you'd like to share?
Um, well, the one that really struck me was I was just hanging out, sort of digging through my bags and things, and I noticed that there was a woman standing over there. She was dressed as Zuko, and then uh, I went down the hallway, and there she was again. And then when we got into the main hall, the Skybridge area, she came up to me and said, "Oh well," kind of meekly, "Can you take a selfie?" And so she'd been, following me around for 15 minutes or so, trying to get up enough courage, I guess, to ask. So I was pretty impressed by that. Um, as opposed to you're sort of walking through Artist Alley and there's uh, two women who just screamed, "Uncle Iroh, we love you!" And they came up and gave me a hug and had to take a picture with me.
Nice.
Um, and I do really enjoy the the photo shoots where all the people, all the different characters get together and take photo shoots.
Nice. So
So
imagine it's nice getting that recognition when you're cosplaying as Uncle Iroh at cons, and you have a bunch of people who are a fan of the show and cosplayers who, go as the characters from the show. So I imagine that's like, makes you pretty happy, getting that kind of recognition.
yeah, yeah. The one thing I don't see at cons that I think I would like to see more of is more racial diversity. In Seattle, there seems to be plenty of uh, what would you call it? What your sexual identity is.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, those people feel pretty comfortable dressing up on however they want. It doesn't seem to be any difference as to how they identify.
Right. And there should be nothing wrong with that. Like if you want to like, if you're a guy and you want to cosplay as a girl or whatever, or there shouldn't be nothing wrong with that. I don't think.
Right. Or if you um, are unsure of your sexuality and you want to try out the other gender, um, or maybe that's how you identify, even though you may not necessarily look that way yet, I think that's fine. But you see a significant lack of brown people.
Yeah, no. I know. I mean, that's like I said. That's one of the issues I definitely want to bring up. And you know, after I conduct these interviews, is something I want to bring up if someone wants to come back on and talk about certain pros and cons of the cosplay community and conventions and everything. So yeah. So when you've gone to these cons, like when they have like the special guest, were you able to get to be any of the special guests they had at the con?
That's one of the things I really am not into is getting signatures and that sort of thing. Um, I'll go to panels to learn things, and so it's been a bit of a challenge finding panels that I really enjoy that will actually teach me something new. They have a lot of the Japanese consulate uh, come and do talks and things at SecureCon, and I've gone to those, and those have been useful. I've enjoyed those.
Now, what are those about usually?
It's I get I think what they're trying to do is get tourism going because if I could afford it, I would like to go to Japan and go to one of those anime um, cafes. I guess there's districts where all the employees like anime Disneyland.
Nice, very. That's I've Yeah, no, SoccerCon is eventually, once COVID is over and done with, I would like to, save the money and go potentially to SoccerCon, but that's, for a later down the road thing. Let's see. We got probably about like 2 more minutes to go. Again, as I always ask, and I know I asked this earlier, any just general tips and advice for those who are considering to get into cosplaying or who are starting and don't know really what to do when they start cosplaying or go to conventions. Any advice you would like to throw in there or tips?
Well, you don't have to go with anybody. You just go by yourself and meet people. So you just, if you don't have the time, you can just buy a costume off Amazon or eBay and just show up at a con and check it out. You don't have to go with a whole crew because you'll probably find a crew once you're there.
This is this is very true. So, again, thank you, Uncle Iroh, for being my another featured guest for Cosplay Con Talks. Get to know that cosplayer.
No, you're welcome. And
And
hopefully we'll be in touch in the future.
most definitely. And like always, everyone, thank you for listening to this episode of Cosplay Con Talk. Until next time, thanks for watching.